Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, Part 141 students left abandoned after accident befalls owner. Nolinor adds classic Cessna 172 to its Become a Pilot program. Does simming make a better student pilot? And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly program dedicated to future aviators and aviation professionals. Airborne Flight Training is brought to you in part by King Schools. King Schools has been leading the effort in producing expert aviation training programs and computer-based learning software for over 50 years. Find out why pilots love King teaching at kingschools.com. Now let's get into today's stories. Part 141 students left abandoned after accident befalls owner. Students of Atlantis Aviation Flight School are apparently either out the total sum of their prepaid flight training or waiting on probate to get on with their careers, after the owners of the school died in an aircraft accident last March. Several students caught the attention of local news, sharing their plight with reporters in the hopes of continuing on with their training. Atlantis Aviation is, or was, a flight school offering students the usual zero to hero flight training experience in addition to the standard Part 61 experience. Their Part 141 program even offered financing through a lending partner, allowing kids to come up with the $60,000 plus price tag of all their ratings. Under Atlantis's program, students were guaranteed a slot to instruct and, quote, comfortably, efficiently, and quickly earn the hours required to advance, end quote, onto their ATP license, which was included with the program. The accident has left students in the lurch as all assets of the school have been put into probate. Now students are left making payments on debt for ratings they will apparently never receive, or wait for years until the probate court pays out portions of the Atlantis estate to debtors. The owner's lawyer, Samantha Fitzgerald, had no good news for the students, noting that they fall a lot further back in the queue of payments to be made. And after the break, U.S. Navy returns jet trainer to service.
Backcountry flying to us is our playground. For us, it's how we access the things we like to do. It's just our lifestyle. We exclusively use the Hartzell Voyager prop, and it's proved to be just a great combination for what we do. What it's doing, it's helping us all have better performing airplanes. Man, it feels a lot better clearing trees by 50 feet versus 20 feet. I don't ever see myself not flying.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. U.S. Navy returns jet trainer to service. The U.S. Navy's T-45C Goshawk trainer is back in action after a one-month operational pause to assess an in-flight engine mishap. The Navy's T-45C fleet can now return to duty, since a probe involving the Naval Air Systems Command and Naval Undergraduate Flight Training Systems Program Office showed evidence of parts failure, not an issue with the fleet at large. Oddly enough, the pause wasn't the first one for the Goshawk, with another performed in 2022 for nearly the same issue. Special Mission South American Training Academy purchases MD-530F. MD Helicopters has signed a contract for an MD-530F with Special Missions Training Center in Argentina. The aircraft will be used for police, security, and military training in heli-borne assault and reconnaissance operations at their training center in La Pampa, Providence, Argentina. Special Missions ordered the MD-530F helicopter to add to its training fleet of a Robinson 66, Cessna Grand Caravan, and a Cessna 172. The aircraft is scheduled to be delivered in Q2 2025. PAL Aerospace pilots reach a tentative agreement. PAL Aerospace pilots have reached a tentative agreement with management on a new employment contract. The 3-year deal was unanimously approved by PAL Aerospace ALPA leadership on May 31st and contains significant improvements to scheduling, working conditions, compensation, job security, and benefits. The new agreement underscores the complexity and significance of representing a diverse group of professionals operating across multiple divisions and geographic locations. Over the next few weeks, the agreement will be shared with the entire pilot group, and then a vote will take place. FedEx pilots hold picket in Memphis. FedEx pilots and the Airline Pilots Association hasn't been too keen on FedEx's new plan, One FedEx, to the point they're willing to set up an informational picket at the Memphis base. Roughly, the change is a consolidation of operating companies, which will herald a 10% dividend increase on the way to, quote, $4 billion in benefits from transformation, end quote. It will bring FedEx Express, FedEx Ground, FedEx Services, and other FedEx operating companies into a single Federal Express corporation. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Nolinor adds classic Cessna 172 to its Become a Pilot program. Nolinor Aviation has acquired a second Cessna 172 for its Become a Pilot program. This Cessna 172, rich in history and carefully restored, will be made available to Nolinor Aviation employees, offering an exceptional pilot training opportunity. Launched in 2020, the Become a Pilot program has already enabled more than 20 employees to obtain their professional pilot licenses and realize their dreams of flying. More than 10 of them are now active as pilots within the company. Through its Become a Pilot program, Nolinor Aviation has successfully overcome the pilot shortage at the end of the pandemic. The new Cessna 172 also holds sentimental value. Marco Prudhomme, president of Nolinor Aviation, explains the decision to repurchase the aircraft. Quote, in the fall of 2021, I shared a message on social media about the entrepreneurial legacy of my grandfather Victorian, illustrated by a vintage photo of him in front of his first plane, a Cessna 172, registered Charlie Foxtrot Hotel Whiskey Oscar. Shortly after this post, Simon Contant of Air Tunalik informed us that this plane had been abandoned in Laval for over 12 years. After an initial inspection, the decision was made to repurchase and restore the aircraft, end quote. After these messages, does simming make a better student pilot?
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Does simming make a better student pilot? The Flight Simulation Association completed a survey of pilots and air traffic controllers across the country, looking to quantify the exact impact of home-based flight simulation on their resulting training. Now, with a plethora of free information, but unvetted to the consternation of the industry at large, available online, it's not too surprising that kids today are seeing more benefits than those of old. The association found that for private pilot students, those who used the flight sim saved about 5.5 hours of training time. Not too shabby when Skyhawk time seems to settle around 150 an hour across the country. Throughout their training, the survey found that active flight sim enthusiasts got their certificate almost 20 hours faster than the national average. The study is more than just a little self-serving given its origin, but it's at least one single voice advocating for the cheaper, more accessible choice for kids today. Flight simulation is one of the few viable pipelines we can rely on to bring new blood into the piloting fold. It demystifies aeronautics and brings the hobby into reach of the common man, all the more important when official training costs about $200 an hour. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching!